noticed the last time I didn't actually show you guys this in pencil first. So some of you actually started in charcoal, so this time I'm doing the opposite. So one good way of starting is by figuring out your high point of the nose. So this is that high point. This is the actual tip of the nose, the roundedness at the very front. Here, I know this seems weird, but these are the sides of the nose. Because if you notice, most noses, they flare out a little bit because of the nostrils. So that's what these are. And this is the side of the nose where it goes up and then it curves because of the way our eyes are in the socket. So that's what I'm doing here. Right now, I somewhat like it, somewhat don't. I would alter this a little bit more. Erase some. Not fully convinced on this yet, but at the same time, the way I also need to keep thinking is which angle am I looking at. This one I'm going to be doing a little below so I can see somewhat at the bottom of the nostrils. So that's what this is going to be. So I'm going to have the idea like, oh, I can see the inside right here. And same thing over here, like, oh, well, that one actually needs to come out lower a little bit. So that'll help it, but I'm going to see the inside of this nostril. And honestly, the way I'm looking at this, now this itself needs to come over more to the right. It's too close, or it's not really centered per se. So get rid of that a little bit. Looking better. I'm not going to focus too much again like on the pencil drawing. I think this is a good point where we can actually now begin and actually start with the actual charcoal. Let me just edit this. Yeah. Okay. So with charcoal, the biggest thing to begin with is figuring out your values and where you want your light source. Are you looking straight on? Is the light coming from the right side of the face, the left side of the face? This all affects the shadows. So for me, I'm going to have the light coming from this general area, shining in. So this side's going to be a lot lighter overall compared to this side. There's still going to be a few shadows over here, but it's mainly going to concentrate over here. So the way I want to start by going about that is just right down here at the bottom. I know this is where I'm definitely going to be getting a shadow because of the raised area of the curve here. From there, I know I'm also going to have some shadows here. Not as dark. They're still pretty dark, but they're not as dark overall. I'm going to get darker right there. Still not as dark as they could be. Or some areas for sure are lighter here. I'm going to go ahead and actually start blending this together just to get the consistency started. Already I'm noticing I need to kind of already start going in here. Let's lighten this up a little bit. Not much, but just a little. Just to help with the shape of it a little bit more be understood and defined. From here, I know this is the actual nostril itself. The high point of the nostril, yes, it's going to be darker, but then it's going to lighten up as it goes down because then it fades into the open area that we see below it. So then I'm just going to blend this all together. Right now, yes, it's looking a little flat still. I mean, I'm getting an idea better of shadows here, but at the same time, And other areas like on this side, it all just looks a little weird. Yes, I'm going to get a little bit of value still here. Not much. Still, it's going to be a lot lighter than it is here. But to help define this area a little bit more and the curve aspect, I'm going to go in, lighten up around it to create like a highlight. Just to help with the curve aspect, understanding that a little bit more. Gonna come clean this up a little bit, just a tad darker right there, just to help with the understanding of the curve some. Not much, thinning it down a little bit, the highlight, and that to me helps out a lot right there. From here, now I want to play in this area with the highlight some. This area is a little raised, so we do get a tiny dark. Not much overall. It's going to be even a little darker here because if you notice with the bottom section, I know sometimes it's not fully flat, or like in this area it won't be. And you also have this little curve area near the mouth, right above the mouth. So I'm going to be playing with that right here in this area. But this is just the beginning understanding of the nose section here. It's not overpowering, it's just a tad bit darker. Just a tad. Then I can even go in if I want, lighten up some. Not a lot. So let's come over here. We're going to play with this. Same way, darker towards the top. Lighter as we go. The big thing to note in this area, though, is this is the lighter section of the nose. I want a little shadow above, but not much, because most of this is going to be a lot lighter overall, and that's going to be shown more through highlights than anything. Highlights and the shadows that are there really help with the understanding. Notice I'm working slow with the eraser. Some of you, when you're using your eraser, you expect it to work instantly, but it doesn't. You gotta go slow with it. Take your time. Now I'm going to play with this area. Not this, it's not going to be this dark in the end, but I do want to get the idea more of the shadowed area that still exists up here. Not as prominent, but it's still a thing. And then like this line altogether on the right, we're actually going to get rid of it because of the way it fades, and this is where all the light is shining on. You don't get that much over there. We do want this shadow here though, just again to remind us of the fact that there is some depth over here. There is the curve and a little shadow overall. Not much, just a little, just to help us figure that out. Just trying to get a little bit of value right here. Not much. But at the same time, just a little to understand the shape we got that we're playing with. Then I erase a good bit at the same time, just so it doesn't overpower it, but it's like a fade at that point. come back down here, we get the concept of that curved area in our right above our lips I was talking about earlier. Not much, but it's there. Now I'm really just going back in and I'm just playing again with the values of places where I feel they need to come and be darker. Again, just to emphasize again the different heights, the different where the shadows are not fully at. And looking at my two nostrils, they look a little weird together. Because they're not fully, like this one needs to come down more. And with its fade, I feel like that would really help it some. Also play in line with the curve a little bit more there. But then I'm going to come in and lighten it up because that's what it needs. It needs to be lighter. And this very, very rough sketch of a nose. So you're going to make this section a tad bit bigger. And there we go. The beginning phases of a nose, which now I really want to come and work on this area. And darken it up there and then lighten it up as well. I think that'll really help it over here. There we go. That's already looking better right there. And your trick is really these highlights. The